So postseason's obviously underway, and if you're watching any of the games, I mean, Houston's up 2-0 on the White Sox. The Rays and Red Sox are tied 1 game apiece. This is all the divisional series. The Giants are up 1-0, 2-0 on the Dodgers, and the Brewers are up 1-0 on the Braves. So that's where everything stands today. And my first question is, where would the Yankees be if they actually made this round? And I think one of the it took me maybe 3 seconds to answer it, and they said they would be, well, they're not here, but if they were, they probably wouldn't win the division anyway against the Rays, or the Red Sox. And this round, one of the main reasons why is because the Yankees are a team that's built to get to October. These other teams, okay, they're built to get through October. There's a difference, okay? And you could see, and even though some of the aces like Chris Sale gave up 4 or 5 runs yesterday, he didn't even get out of the first inning. Okay, Lance Lynn got pounded the other day. Okay, Walker Buehler gave up 3 home runs to the Dodgers yesterday. So aces get hit hard, but these guys have a team that's built around them to come back. Okay, even the White Sox, even though they're down 2-0, I could see them fighting back. I don't know if they're going to beat the Astros now. The Astros are a little bit more playoff tested than they are right now, but nevertheless, they are an uber talented lineup, and they're going to do whatever they need to do to get better for next year to not let this happen again. That's for sure. So, to me, it begs the question of who needs to go first on the Yankees, and it's time to shake things up in the front office, obviously, and hopefully they have a plan. As much as Brian Cashman's been great for the last 20 years, I think it's time to get a new philosophy in here. He built, like I said, he built the teams to get into October, and getting to October now is not the same as getting to October in 2009 or 2000. So this is different now. These teams are much more athletic, much more talented, much more versatile, and the Yankees are not as relentless as they were before. So it's a combination of things. So finding, and again, there's probably 1 or 2 people out there who would be viable candidates to replace Brian Cashman, but Hal Steinbrenner's got to be willing to take that plunge, make that move. And I know they're close friends, and he's part of this fraternity, or whatever you want to call it. I don't care what it's called, but a family doesn't matter. I mean, if you're in the business of just keeping your tight knit group, or you're in the business of winning championships, okay, that's a decision you have to make. How? Okay, and then the other question is, do you keep Boone, or do you move on from Boone? Cashman has 1 more year in his contract before his deal is up. Boone is a free agent right now. So, and who are the viable candidates that are actually available, who we could replace Boone with? And I think it's, is that GM a good pairing? If you bring in Billy Beane, just as an example, does he have the chutzpah to kind of, and the willingness to make moves to get things done? To get the Yankees back on track. You got to have somebody who's willing to do it, and Cashman's, one of the things that I admire about him is he has remarkably disciplined. He has the ability to get a lot out of deals, but the other thing that frustrates me is waiting till the very, very end of a deadline or period or whatever to make a deal, and it doesn't, a lot of times he loses out on the opportunity. The Yankees lose out on the opportunity to bring in the right guys. Okay. There's obvious players that we need to have player turnover as well. We started talking about that yesterday a little bit with the most easily movable guys, but what needs to be addressed first is this management, coaching, and front office. I think there needs to be replacement of a couple of coaches need to be replaced, and we also need coaches that'll be willing to light a fire under the ass of some of these players. I hadn't seen anybody in Gary Sanchez's face or Gleyber Torres' face when they don't hustle, when they're just not mentally in the game. Where are the Larry Boas? They're like in their faces. We need guys like that. This is a lot of times a very undisciplined, unprepared team, and we need people to make sure that doesn't happen on a regular basis. So who are the coaches? Who are the managers? Who's available? Who that actually makes sense? I mean, I've mentioned a few recently, but again, my big guy is THEO EPSTEIN, but that would be an earth-shaking proposition for the Yankees, because that would require moving on from Brian Cashman. And I don't know how Hal's got the balls to do it. I really don't. But because you'd have to give him the same kind of carte blanche, same kind of authority that Hal Steinbrenner has, and he could either be the GM himself or the president of baseball operations, bring in a GM, and then they could work together to reconstruct this team and set it in on better footing for the future. He's not the only one, obviously, THEO EPSTEIN, but he, to me, is my number one. If I were Hal Steinbrenner, he's the first phone call I'd be making. I would have already made it. There's no reason he can't. Steve Cohen made it already. You know, and I know Steve Cohen's going after Billy Beane as well for the Mets. He's already, like, you know, he wants to get better. You know he's doing these things. Like, that's what I mean. Where's Hal? Why is he laying in the weeds? What do they want to do? What are their goals? How are they plan on getting better? You know, bringing the same group back and expecting to be better next year is just a definition of insanity and just stupidity. It's not going to work. It just shows that you're not committed to, you know, getting better, because now these other American League East teams are ahead of us. Rays, Blue Jays, Red Sox, they are. Just admit it. Be real about it. And so, I mean, that's the first question to me. You know, what are they going to actually provide turnover in the front office? Is it going to be a GM change, a manager change? Are they going to be coaching changes? You know, that's the first question of the first structural piece, and so that they can you know, move over to player personnel. And again, you know, as much as I love to pry Don Mattingly away from the Yankees, I don't see that happening. I don't see Joe Madden happening because he's happy. He's already coaching with managing the A's. I mean, Buck Showalter, okay, he's a possibility. Maybe he's interested. Mike Scioscia, somebody mentioned as well. Hensley Mullins is another intriguing possibility. Somebody mentioned Carlos Beltran yesterday. I'm not sure because he's assumed to be the mastermind of the Astros cheating scandal, or one of them, so I don't know if that's going to work, but he's obviously beloved in New York and across Major League Baseball, so I don't know if that cheating was actually proven that he was the mastermind. So I don't know. I mean, there are some options, but are those the best options you got? I mean, is that what we got? And then who are you going to build around them? What coaches are you going to build around them? And are you going to stay with Cashman? I know he's got 4 rings in 20 years, but which is a very successful GM, more than any other GM out there. But you know, is the 2021 Brian Cashman, you know, the same as the 2009 or the 2000, 99, 98 Cashman? No. Have the Yankees moved into the future with these other teams that are embracing certain parts of analytics, but know that they also have to get very athletic and very versatile? Not really. They're still reliant on home runs at the expense of a lot of other things. So, and you need more versatility. And you need to not be afraid to make moves, big ones. They need to not be afraid to strike early. Okay, they need to not be afraid to move on from people either. You know, I mean, you know, as much as you want to keep guys like Brett Gardner, and I like Brett Gardner, it's time to bring in some new, fresh blood here. I mean, you do have Tim LeCastro coming back. You have Greg Allen. You have young, dynamic guys. And obviously, he's already said that he wants to bring back Aaron Hicks and have him start at center field. So, you know, Estevan Florial. You have 3 guys already who can replace Gardner. So, you know, and again, I would have a Brett Gardner day and, you know, just have a wonderful send-off and thank him for 15 wonderful years as a Yankee. But that's an important order of business, and moving on from just, you know, dead weight to players who are not being productive. I mean, you know, as much as I like Clint Frazier and Miguel Andujar, I wish they were here playing. Yankees kind of screwed up with them. You gotta move these guys too. You're holding so many just unproductive roster spots that they need to move on from some of these dudes. Move them in trades. You're not going to get a lot back, but would you rather keep an unproductive spot and have nothing, or maybe, you know, get a collection of prospects that might turn out 1 or 2 decent players? You never know, but like, you know, it's time to get some of the roster turnover going here. And I know, you know, things, I obviously can't do anything yet with other teams' players because of free agency and whatnot. You can do things with your own. So, but if I were the Yankees, I'd already be being proactive. You know, and just look at these teams playing in the playoffs, and you know, what do we need to do to get to these guys? How the hell are we going to beat these guys? Because we can't beat them with our current roster. We have heavily front-loaded at the top and then suspect in the middle, and then we have some decent depth players. But there's a lot of things that need to be addressed. You need better depth. You need better backup players. Like, there's a lot of things that the Yankees need to do. We're going to get deep into it tonight with the second part of our Plotting the Yankees offseason live stream. So we're going to do that tonight. and I'm really looking forward to it. So let's get those ideas ready, and we're gonna hash out some stuff, man. So we'll put together our plan, and I've got. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so and hit the notifications. I have a couple dozen awesome videos already ready to go. That's all I'm putting them together, I should say. But the content is going to be really, really good this offseason. We're going to stay really, really engaged in the Yankee world this offseason. And I've got all the stuff, and I'm working on my MLB free agent predictions too, trade predictions, and all different types of stuff. So you're not going to want to miss them. So make sure to stay tuned in and subscribe and hit the notification to do that. But see you guys tonight. Have a great day.